Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really focusing on something exciting, finding ways for you to potentially see more money in your pocket.
That's right. We've been digging into some recent updates, looking for chances for extra payments, things that could genuinely boost your finances soon.
Yeah, we've looked at state-level stuff, potential changes for Social Security, even housing assistance, lots of different angles.
And our goal here is pretty straightforward.
Right.
Help you understand what's out there and, how you might be able to access these funds.
Okay, great. So let's jump right in. The big question everyone probably has,
Yeah.
are there more, like, stimulus checks coming? What's the story there?
Well, on the federal level, like a big nationwide check, no, that doesn't seem to be on the cards right now.
Okay.
But, and this is important, at the state level, that's where we are seeing some action. Some states are definitely issuing payments.
Interesting. So states are stepping up. We heard maybe about $1,400 payments.
Yes, that figure, $1,400, has popped up in relation to some state-level programs potentially coming online around May 2025. It's not federal stimulus, though.
Right. So where's this money coming from then?
It's mostly states using leftover federal funds from the pandemic era, or increasingly, they have their own budget surpluses. They collected more tax money than expected.
Okay, so it really depends on where you live.
Exactly. Eligibility, how you apply, it all varies quite a bit state by state.
Can you give us a couple of examples? Like, where might people actually see this happening?
Sure. California is one people often watch. They sometimes do surplus rebates or inflation relief payments when their budget allows it.
Right, I remember hearing about that before. What about, say, the East Coast? Anything happening there?
New York is actually a really big example right now. Their new 2026 budget, it includes something they're calling inflation refund checks.
Inflation refunds, how much are we talking?
Well, the state is planning to return over $2 billion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, to more than 8 million residents. It's a pretty significant move.
That's huge. So for an individual, what could that mean?
The amounts look like they'll range from around $270 up to maybe over $1,000. It depends on your income from 2024 and what tax credits you claimed.
And when might people in New York see that money?
The timeline they've announced suggests most payments should arrive by mid-May 2025. So relatively soon, actually.
Okay, good to know. And wasn't there something else in the New York budget too, longer term?
Yes, exactly. They're also phasing in an income tax cut. It's aimed at middle-class earners.
Oh, okay.
It starts in 2026, so not immediate cash, but it's planned to save New Yorkers quite a bit down the line, potentially close to $1 billion a year once it's fully implemented.
So definitely some real financial benefits happening at the state level then. If someone's listening and they're not in California or New York, how do they find out if their state is doing something similar?
The best bet is always your state's Department of Revenue website. That's the official source.
What should they look for? Specific terms?
Yeah, look for things like surplus rebates, inflation relief, maybe emergency assistance payments. Those are the kinds of phrases states often use.
Got it. And just finding the program isn't enough, I assume?
No, definitely not. You absolutely have to check the details. Tax filing deadlines are often key. Many states require you to have filed your 2024 taxes.
Okay.
And then there are other potential criteria, maybe age or disability status, or if you're a renter versus a homeowner, you really need to read the fine print for your specific state.
Makes sense. Is there a rush on this so people check right away?
I'd say yes. Some of these programs do have deadlines or limited funding. So acting quickly once you find something you might qualify for is probably a good idea. Don't wait too long.
Okay, good advice. Let's shift gears a bit. Social Security, always a topic people are interested in. Are there talks about potential increases in benefits? More money potentially coming that way?
Yes, there's definitely buzz around potential increases. And what's interesting is there seem to be a couple of different ideas floating around aimed at different groups.
Okay, like what?
Well, one proposal that gets mentioned is an extra payment, $200 per month.
$200 a month.
Yeah, which would be $2,400 extra per year. This is specifically talked about for people who already get benefits through SSI, SSDI, or the regular Social Security retirement or survivor programs.
So this targets folks already in the system, retirees, people with disabilities.
Exactly. People often on fixed incomes. And the discussion seems to include SSI, SSDI, and even VA beneficiaries. So it could potentially provide a nice boost across those programs.
That could certainly help a lot of people. Now, you said there was another proposal, something about $1,200 checks.
Yes, that's a different concept. This involves $1,200 monthly checks, but it's linked to guaranteed income pilot programs.
Oh, guaranteed income. How does that work?
These are trials basically happening at federal and local levels. The key difference is they target low-income individuals who are not currently getting Social Security or similar benefits. It's about providing a basic income floor for those who might fall through the cracks.
Okay, so two distinct ideas. One, potentially boosting existing benefits, the other, creating a new kind of support. Where would the money for these guaranteed income pilots come from?
Good question. The funding discussions often mention things like potential tax reforms or using surplus revenues, both at the federal and local government level. They're exploring ways to make it sustainable.
But it's really important for people listening to understand these are just proposals at this point, right? Not definite yet.
Absolutely crucial point.
Yep.
Yes, these are ideas being discussed, debated. They are not approved or guaranteed payments right now. We need to be really clear about that.
Okay, so assuming one of these did move forward, what might eligibility look like? Let's start with the potential $200 extra for current beneficiaries.
For that one, the talk is generally that you'd need to meet the existing criteria. So likely being a legal U.S. citizen, permanent resident.
Uh-huh.
For seniors, 65 or older, you'd have to be currently receiving SSI, SSDI, or regular Social Security, and probably meet those SSI income and asset limits, pretty much aligning with current rules.
Right. And the $1,200 monthly checks from the pilot programs, who would qualify there?
That's focused specifically on low-income individuals. There doesn't seem to be an age limit mentioned generally. The big condition is not currently receiving Social Security.
Right.
And then, of course, you'd have to meet whatever specific guidelines the federal or local government sets for that particular pilot program. Each might be slightly different.
So lots of ifs still,
Mhm.
but good to know what's being discussed. If these do gain momentum, how should people stay updated and, potentially apply if they become real?
The number one place to watch is the official Social Security Administration website. That's sasa.gov.
SSA.gov, got it.
Any official news about benefit changes or new programs will absolutely be announced there first. If something is approved, you'll likely be able to apply online, maybe by phone or in person. Having your documents ready, proof of citizenship, income info, that sort of thing will be important.
Okay, great resource. Let's move to our final area for today, housing assistance, specifically Section 8. What's the latest there that could mean financial relief for people?
This is another area with some potentially positive news. We're seeing reports that Section 8 waitlists are actually reopening in various places across the country this spring and early summer, so right around now in 2025.
Oh, really? Where?
We've seen mentions of major cities like Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami-Dade. These are places announcing new opportunities for people to apply for housing vouchers.
That's definitely good news, given how high rents are. Is there anything people need to know about these waitlist openings? A catch?
The main thing really is timing. These application windows can be incredibly short, sometimes just a few days, maybe even only hours.
Wow, hours?
Yeah, so you have to be ready to move fast if you want to apply when an opportunity comes up in your area. Vigilance is key.
So how do you find out? How do you know when your local list opens?
You need to go directly to your local public housing authority, or PHA. The best way to find yours is using the HUD PHA locator tool on the Department of Housing and Urban Development's website, hud.gov.
Okay, contact your local PHA. Got it. Are there other changes happening with Section 8 that might help people financially?
Yes, another important update involves the payment standards. That's the maximum rent subsidy the voucher will cover.
Ah, okay.
These are being updated for 2025. And because rents have gone up so much, many PHAs are actually increasing those payment standards.
So the voucher could potentially cover more of the rent.
Exactly. For people who already have vouchers, this could mean the program covers a larger chunk of their rent, leaving them with more of their own money for, food, utilities, other essentials. It's a direct financial benefit.
That could really make a difference. Any news about, new vouchers or other rental programs?
There are a couple things. First, some leftover emergency housing vouchers, EHVs, from the pandemic are being reallocated. Second, some states, like California and New York again, are actually launching their own state-funded rental assistance programs. These create new avenues for help, potentially even for people who didn't qualify for federal aid before.
So more potential options opening up. What about people already stuck on a wait list? Any advice for them?
Definitely. If you are currently on a Section 8 waitlist somewhere, now is the perfect time to make absolutely sure your application info is current.
Like address, phone number.
Exactly. Contact information is critical. Phone, email, mailing address. PHAs often try to reach people quickly when a voucher is ready, and if they can't find you, you could lose your spot. So update that info.
Good point. And for people who aren't on a list yet but think they might qualify?
Apply as soon as you see a list open in your area. Don't be discouraged if the list seems long. Getting your name on there is the crucial first step.
Makes sense.
Plus, we're heading into the peak moving season now. Summer, more rental units tend to open up. So applying now might, just might, help you find housing a bit faster, maybe before the fall.
Okay, so summing this all up, it really sounds like there are several different ways people might find some extra financial resources or relief coming their way soon.
That's really the main takeaway, isn't it? We've talked about potential state stimulus or rebate payments, putting cash directly in people's hands,
Right.
proposed boosts to Social Security that could mean higher monthly checks, and these Section 8 updates, which could significantly lower housing costs for many. They're all distinct paths, but they all point towards potential financial improvement.
And the common thread seems to be that people need to be proactive,
Yeah.
right? They need to actively look for these opportunities.
Absolutely. That's critical. You need to take the initiative. Check your state's revenue website, see if there's any news on rebates or relief payments.
Keep an eye on sa.gov for any official word on those Social Security proposals.
Exactly. And contact your local housing authority, your PHA, find out about Section 8 waitlists or other rental help in your specific community.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the message really is to explore these avenues. Look into them. It might take a bit of effort, but the potential payoff, more money, lower costs, could really help boost your financial security.
Couldn't agree more. It's about being informed and taking those steps to see what support might be available for you.